Listen, bro, come here, check the way I drive her. Hey, everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Kids. Today, and only today, we are here to talk about something pretty substantial, which is a potential mega change to the end of Sonic Frontiers, the literal end and the end of the game. I mean, obviously, if you're watching this by this point, you know what's popping, you know what's going on. I don't really have to give you a spoiler warning. If you're clicking a video like this late in, you probably know what's going on. So, guys, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, I have to give you guys context for what happened here. So, this Twitter user, shout out to Infinite Cubes, made a thread, right? And they were like, hey, the end is such a great villain, but has the worst final boss gameplay in a Sonic game. Now, I think that's a little extreme. I think there's definitely worse and more lame final bosses, but whatever. I digress. So this dude ends up tagging Kishimoto, director of, Sonic Frontiers, and giving his ideas. So he's like, my pitch for the Battle of Supreme is health is very high, higher than all the Titans combined, which that makes sense. Supreme will not fly over or hover. Same attacks as both Giganto and Supreme Phase 2, plus a gun special attack that Sonic could parry with special animations. I agree with this. That's cool. Phase 2 boss will fly around and hover. I know this will be too much, but you have a whole year to work on it. I don't know why he said you have a whole year to work on it. Like he knows their dev pipeline. The boss will hover with its wings after a period of time. It's flying into another location where you could chase it down to do a special parry to throw it. That's cool. To the ground to spin attack in the air. Once the boss reaches the other arena, the boss fight will be normal. The arena areas are large to accommodate the gun. Phase 1 plus the boss uses the gun plus kicking, lasers, and all that stuff. Ending QTE could be really cool. Either way, right? He goes into a whole thing about, how Phase 1 could be better, how Phase 2 could be better. Tags the director, is like, hey, if you read this and get inspired from it, I want to thank you for spending the time reading this. So then Kishimoto answers, thank you for suggesting a great idea. I've read it all and found your opinion valid and inspiring to me. I don't know how much I can achieve in a limited amount of time, but I'll do my best to make it something that you will be satisfied with. So this could mean nothing, right? Obviously, he's typing in Japanese, this is being Google translated. So it could just mean in general, like, hey, like, within this time period, I'm going to give feedback to the team for a future game, or maybe something. Like, I don't know how substantial this is going to be to the end of the game, or if it's even going to have any bearing, towards the game actually. But I felt like that should be specified that, like, it's not necessarily a guarantee, but that's a big deal. I mean, for the director of a game to just flat out say, like, hey, like, this thread inspired me and I want him to do something about it is a really big deal, because it probably means he's heard this before. I mean, what did they say about Phase 2, right? For what's it called? The end, right? Let's see. 3D and Sonic is still a small particle, is still very small. Bring all the Titans to the fighter, just Supreme. Obstacles are created, shields are smaller, projectiles plus lasers, and all that stuff. So, does he actually mention anything about the end, or these are all about Supreme? Okay, these seem mostly about Supreme, but I guess maybe the second one, Phase 2, I guess would be maybe the end. But yeah, so that's it. Now, what I figured we would do is, now that we have this information, first of all, right, this is awesome. In general, I want to give a big shout out to Kishimoto. The fact that he's listening to the fans so much, he's replying to people and talking about how much he wants to implement and do is really cool. Again, I want to see that come to fruition. Like, I think there's a big difference between saying this and hoping this and actually seeing it. But I do hope that maybe with the big game updates, we have update 1 coming early in the year, and then we have another summer update in June to coincidize with Sonic's birthday, and then update 3 is probably going to be in the fall, which to me seems the most likely. I feel like that big fall update, the final DLC update where we're supposed to have Knuckles, Tails, and Amy playable, and with the big story DLC, I feel like that's where you can get an update to the ending of the game, because that just makes the most sense too, right? The idea would be, you get these extra scenarios, moments and stuff, and then maybe you go back to the ending of the game, you have a bit more context, you have a bit more stuff to do and all that. But like, what I thought? I thought we'd go watch some footage of the end and sort of talk about what I would like to see from some changes here, because, oh, by the way, I want to give a big shout out. I'm just looking at a random video who did this boss fight database, so go check boss fight database. I just wanted like a clear, HD footage of this fight against Supreme, because yeah, look, we've talked about this before, but Supreme is definitely one of the lamer ways to end the game. And I think the big thing for me that's missing is, like, for example, like this move right here. why can't I parry that like I could Giganto into a cool move? You know, why does he just does that spin? There should be a cool parry animation for this, right? That's one thing, right? Another thing is there is no sick QTEs. You know, where are the cool QTEs? You know, you have one, what's it called, for Wyvern, and you have one for, what's his name? What's it called? Knight, but you don't have one for Supreme, who's like your last boss. Even this, right? Like, this is super lame. Like, this laser shoots you and puts you back. You know, you should be able to do the thing just like Giganto, where you push it into the air. The thing about this boss is, like, I just want a bit more flair to it. And one of the most, like, you know, lame parts of this is, look at this, right? You get to the phase 2, right? Where it grows its angel wings, right? And what ends up happening is, like, you don't even see these angel wings. Like, look at this. He goes into some crazy, like, Evangelion angelic wing kind of thing. You don't even see the wings. Where are the wings, my brother? You grew these behind your back. You know, that would have been so raw and almost creepy in a way to keep that. And then, you know, this bullet hell part where you're just getting knocked over a lot. I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of how they handled this fight. It's cool, like, it's solid. But even here, like, come on, like, right there. Why can I not parry this, right, for a cool animation? I just want more visual flair for this fight. You know, that thread from that guy was saying stuff, you know, like going to different islands and traversal and stuff, and you know, I would love that. You know, I wouldn't mind, you know, more crazy stuff going on in the environment and where he's going and all that. But like, give me some more, you know, over the top shit with this fight in terms of QTE, special animations and stuff. You know, make me feel like this is really Supersonic's final bout, right? Because okay, we get this, right? We don't even I think get a proper like ending to the side. Sorry about my phone. Right? Like if I scroll all the way down here to when you beat him, like look at this. The most you get, right, is Sonic going up to him and standing forward with it like a spin attack like this. Like, come on, I don't even get like a sick ending shot like I did with all the other bosses. Like, these are little things that, you know, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, come on, this is your final boss. I know they've talked about, you know, how they liked budget and all this stuff, but like, I would have liked a bit, you know, more to this. Now here's the thing, right? With the end, right, which is the secret final boss, I understand that they should focus more on Supreme because that's the one the average person is getting because they'll play the game on normal. But, you know, for the fans that are playing the game on hard mode and are seeing the end boss fight, I would like a little more visual flair to it. You know what I mean by that is, give me something more cinematic, because okay, I'm doing the bullet hell, I've accepted that it is what it is with that, but give me something cool, like, you know, maybe a segment every, you know, third of the fight or halfway through the fight where maybe like I can be Supersonic trying to attack the moon and nothing's working. You know, give me some of that cinematic flair that the 3 other Titans gave me, because I feel like that was the big thing going into the end, is these other 3 Titans are so fantastic and over the top with their presentation, right, that when you get to the end of the game, you're like, okay, I gotta be expecting the world tier, you know, and you end up being like, okay, that was cool, right? Which is not the best way you want to end that. You know, you still love your time with it, but it was like, okay, like I wish that was more, you know, crazy and cinematic. But yeah, I just want a bit more visual fight, because even like the end of this fight, if I can like skip to it from my footage here, going through this, is just that, you know, Sonic pulls up here, right? He tries to stop it, and it's cool. Like I like this part of the fight where the Titan is helping him out and then he's pushing him to try to solve all this. Like, that's awesome to me. This is definitely the best part of this, but give me a bit more of that in the middle of it. I like that thread that the guy said of like, hey, what if the other Titans show up to help you, right? Because why is it just this one? It would be awesome if the other Titans you stopped somehow, you know, came back. Now, granted, you destroyed them, so I get why it wouldn't make sense, but whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, so then we have the ending here where, you know, Sonic's just trying to boost into it, and I love that. Like I said, I love the idea of the end and pushing through and all that stuff, but I just want a bit more visual flair. But I do think, though, the true focus should be on fixing Supreme, because I think Supreme is the one, like I said, the average person is going to face and deal with and all that stuff. And here goes Supersonic flying into the end, blowing up a second moon finally. But yeah, like I said, I don't think they need to do any cutscene changes or stuff. I just think those fights should get a bit more cinematic flair. I saw a few people saying that they didn't want it to change, and I don't think they're gonna fundamentally change the idea that you're doing the bullet hell, that you're fighting Supreme. But I think everyone would be happy about the idea of them just adding more to it to give it more flair. You know, I just just want more QTEs. I want, you know, some more ways to pair. You know, give me something that feels genuinely challenging and fair. And I think they could definitely do that, right? Let's say this comes out in a year from now with the big character updates and stuff. That would be an awesome way. Like, imagine you finish that new story ending and stuff, and then you go back, you're like, you know what, I want to see the end of the game, and you have something super different. And I think that would be a cool idea. So guys, let me know what you think, right? What changes would you like to see with the fight? Do you think they're actually going to go through with it? You know, let me know what you think, what you're most excited for about that. And thank you all for watching, and I love you, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.